Welcome back to Rauscher Racing Weekly. This is part 2 and this will be Brent's A main. So let's check it out.
A full field here to start today, 23 cars if they all make it out. $20 laps, intermediate A main event. So 11M Caleb Marr, one of our transfers into the race from the from the B main event, along with the 56 of Taylor Hall at the back of the lineup. Three cars on the track. We do have a full field of 23 cars on the track. The front of the race looking really good. There's a couple of drivers at the back that we're trying to make sure that they get rolling. That 56 Taylor Hall, one of our final competitors. Let's see if she can keep that going. But it looks like she'll pull in. Rest of the lineup looks good. We're giving the 56 a second here to see if we can work on that car. See if she can push back out there. She was having mechanical issues earlier in the day. And that means that the lineup is good. Mechanical issues there continuing to plague the number 56 of Taylor Hall, and you could see she was trying to pull off there at the end, but wasn't enough to keep us under green. So we're going to stay single file here. The lineup does look pretty good. A couple of drivers asking questions to make sure that if they are in their correct positions, but the lineup is looking good. Jeff Yantis continues to impress here. Remember him coming from the back of the trophy dash and making his way up to third. And today, as you know, we start our trophy dash cars in rows 3, 4, and 5. He started in row 4. He started back in the 7th starting position, and as the light goes out, coming in on the first lap, he is your leader under green. Dominating first lap for 2 laps for Jet Yantis, way out in front, and then that yellow flag that came out for the 04 and the number 1M. I believe the number 33 was spun but was able to keep going, so good on her. 04 of Braden McKenzie, we'll see if he can fire back off. But again, we've gone 2 laps and we have seen your leader come from the 7th starting position up to the lead. Be interesting to see how this all pans out, and it's time for a good restart from the 29 of Chevy Schroeder. He knows now what Jet Yantis can do. He knows how aggressive he's going to have to be on this restart. Be of Eric Botello, as we were saying, needed a good restart. It's going to be hard to keep up with the 4 of Jet Yantis, but he's holding them better than he did last time. Your leader is collected in this red flag. As well as we go under red. Looks like he's trying to keep on rolling. So the 09S of Tony Sophia Souza involved there in the red. .22K of Kaylee Burgess also involved in the red. We will have another open red. 2 minutes. So another open red, 2 minutes. Couple of minutes here and we will go out of the red, but we have 2 minutes for this open red where the mechanics can run down and talk to their drivers. But when we get back under green, our lineup is going to look a lot different. Your leader, the number 4 of Jet Yantis, was involved in that red flag and will be put to the back of the lineup. leaving the lead open to the 2B of Eric Botello, our driver that's right here in the front stretch. The other drivers involved, we had the 70, let's see if we had the number 4, the number 09, the 22K, and the 88. The 4 cars that were involved there, the 09 of Tony Sofia Souza, as we said, the 4 of Jet Yantis. We also had the 22 of Kaylee Burgess involved. It will be taken out of the lineups, and the 88 of Colton Arbogast. So those drivers that were in the lineup will be taken out, and we are still have a lot of racing left to go. We were going to put one of our fastest drivers to the back of the pack now, and the horn indicates that the red is now closed. The mechanics will have to leave the track. We are going to change color. We're out of red. We are into yellow. We're going to start pushing cars. Your first 3 drivers, when we start lining up, will look like this. The 2B, Eric Botello, will be your leader. The 29 of Chevy Schroeder will be in second, and Mason Dietz, the 45M, will be in third. Those are your 3 lead cars. B of Eric Botello, the 29 of Kevin Schroeder, the 45M of Mason Dietz, and then it is the 16 of Brent Rauscher, the 10 of Jennifer Osborne. Putting the 75 of Jackson Hall, trying to put him up in front of the 36. That would be his correct starting position behind the number 8S of Dalton Schrum. Couple more moments here. We are talking to drivers that are in the bottom third of the field and trying to make sure that they get their correct starting position. The 14, Bryson Cimarral. The 4 of Jet Yantis, and the 09S of Tony Sofia Sousa. All drivers that were in that yellow, also drivers that were involved in the previous yellow. Saw a huge lead there. The 2B of Eric Botello had an awesome lead in those green flag laps that we had under our belts. The number 10 of Jennifer Osborne in the second spot, over the 29 of Chevy Schroeder. So that was a pass Jennifer was able to make there on those last closing laps before the yellow came out. The 10 of Jennifer Osborne was in third and moved herself up into the second position. So that driver on the backstretch is the 14 of Bryson Cimarral. Another yellow flag for the 14 of Bryson Cimarral. And there is the number 88 being pushed off Colton Arbogast, and that is another yellow for him. So at the halfway mark, the yellow flag comes out for the 2B of Eric Botello, who's been doing a great job leading us around through some lap traffic. The 10 of Jennifer Osborne, who made that pass to move up into the second spot. We have a yellow flag out for the 09. This will be the final spin, second spin for Tony Sofia Sousa. That will be the final one for that car. We'll have to pull into the infield. Also in that yellow, the 94J of Jennifer Call, both of those cars in the yellow. Back to green, again to 10 laps in, halfway through on the intermediate A main event. second one on the 94J of Jeremiah Gall, second yellow. And then the 33 of Matilda Klein. So 2 cars there on the back stretch pulling out the yellow. The 33 of Matilda Klein, the 94J of Jeremiah Gall. 14 laps in, 6 more laps to go in your intermediate A main event. Calling out spots here to the drivers out on the field if they are in the wrong position. We radio down to them and tell them to go ahead and move to the correct position. Generally, we'll try and communicate with them about 3 or 4 times. If they don't listen and they don't move to the correct spot that they're supposed to be in, then we will let them stay, even if that means that they are starting in a further back spot. All right, back to green. That is the very first spin there for the 8S of Dalton Schrum. First spin, so he will be able to tag the back of the pack here as they come around. But the lineup has stayed good. All the cars have stayed in their correct starting positions. So you'll see the number 8, Dalton Schrum, going to pull out and tag the back of this lineup. 15 laps in. Laps are winding down here as the white flag is out for our dominant leader, the number 2B of Eric Botello, the 10 of Jennifer Osborne in second, Chevy Schroeder in third, 57 of Jake Nuxel in fourth, Mason Dietz in fifth, and the checkers are flying for your intermediate A main event. Checker flags out, a dominant win for the 2B of Eric Botello. A great finish there. The number 10 of Jennifer Osborne doing a great job finishing in second. Chevy Schroeder in third. The number 29, the 57 of Jake Nuxel in fourth. And Mason Dietz, the number 45M in fifth. Brent Rauscher in
Welcome back to Mom's Corner. I'm Kim Rauscher.
I'm Samantha Rauscher.
And we are hot off points race number 4 at Cycleland Speedway. It was a little bit different of a week. Weather was a big factor for us this week. You know, weather down there, it moistens up the track and does that kind of stuff. You weren't at the track.
Oh.
I was flying solo in the lady department, so you got to stay home and watch on Fast Forward. I think that's the first time since we've been
for a while.
Yeah, it's been a first time in a while.
Every now and again, I have to take a Saturday off. I might work. I do some homework, catch up. It's a lot of running, and so sometimes I have to decide to just catch up on other things and to do those things. So I did stay home this weekend. I do love that I have fast forwardability and cast it on the TV, so I don't miss a lap. I just miss the being in the pits, the action, the talking, the cooking and eating and those things. But I do get to see every lap that takes place. I think the hardest thing for me is the knowing what's wrong. So Blake went out for qualifying. I think it was the first car that went out, and his wing dropped flat.
It was quite hilarious to see the angle of his wings. So yes, he and no, you don't know what's going on. No. So you're like, what is that? Yes, his cage height is a lot bigger, taller, I guess is what I should say. So the new cage is taller, and he just didn't tighten things down when he pulled it out of the trailer. So it looks quite hilarious in the footage. I'm sure there was probably some fun commentary about that.
So being 3.5, 4 hours away, I'm like, okay, maybe it's fixable, maybe it's not, because I don't see it. I don't see it until a car comes back out on the track. I do have the ability to text and call and those kind of things too, but I try not to. I mean, I know we're running around, we're working. Brent will, here and there, he'll text me and say, here's where I'm at. Or Kim's really good about sharing lineup with me, even though I'm home, so I know who's starting where and
what race they're in.
What race they're in, so I know I don't have time to eat real quick or make dinner in between, those kind of things.
Still planning that time out as you're waiting in between your races. Yeah. So Blake, he struggled. Ultimately, he was doing so well. Blake has found his speed. He is finding his line. We're keeping the tires on the ground. He's still struggling down on the 1 and 2 in the berm. He likes to go over the discs and up onto the inside of
and it just upsets the car too much.
It does, especially at those speeds. That is a fast class. So he did okay. I think he was in 6th in his heat race, and then in the B main, it sounded like he revved through the moon under caution. So we're like, oh, he lost a chain. That's the sound a chain makes. So he pulled off. If you lose a chain in a B main, you're done. There is no fixing that. Only in the A main can you make those kind of adjustments. And at second line, it might even be different there. You might not be able to there. But if you lose a chain, you're done. So he thought it was a chain, got out, looked at it, wasn't a chain. So ultimately, he broke his motor mount. So, and we're thinking that has shook it enough that it jumped out of gear. So that's what we're hoping. The engine builder was on the phone with us today, so we think that's what that was. Evan is still struggling. He just doesn't. We can tune in the pits at the trailer. He can drive it around the pit in the pits. He can start it up. It revs beautifully. You're like, oh my gosh, we have figured this out. We've played with the electronics. We've played with the carburetor. So we've messed with the fuel and doing that kind of stuff, and it sounds like it's getting better. We thought he was just too fat on his jet with the weather this week, and no, he is still boggy as soon as he gets a load on that engine. So he's going to the engine builder. So with this time off that we have in the next couple of weeks, there's no time off really for a racing family. You've got to make adjustments. You're fixing things. You're prepping for that next race. It's never just, I'm going to park it in the garage or in the trailer and it's going to be good to go. It's just not how it is. Not in our lives. And Brent did amazing. He is really coming alive this season. It's fun to see him.
For Brent, the 250 class is clicking.
Yes. It's nice to see that finally happen, and when a kid gets it and they can do the lines and stuff, it's great to watch.
And pretty repetitively, like he's hitting the mark over and over. He's not hitting it and it's great, and then he can't find it. He's hitting it over and over. So he finished second in his heat race, which put him in the first 2 rows to start his main. He started third, so second row inside. He fell back a few spots, but he finished 6th, so he's staying consistent in that top 10, which is a big part of just being there and staying steady. That top 10 group. They've been racing together for a little while now. I don't know that there's a new person in the top 10. So they've been together at least 2 years. They really know each other, which is a good and a not, right? Like, you know that person's move, and you can assume it, I guess. That top 10 is getting real aggressive with each other in a really fun way as a spectator to watch. They're not tearing each other up, junking each other, but they're putting the pressure on pretty hard.
It is. They are very competitive. It's the rest of the field you got to worry about. It's the other cars that are junking each other. Yeah. But no, they are. It's competitive. It's the pushing, and it makes great racing. Brent did some good moves that I haven't seen him do before. So with hitting those marks and being able to consistently go around the track and run your own race, you're able to pass clean and not have to muscle someone out of the way, and it makes the viewing of that battling back and forth for that spot fun to watch. Yeah.
So we have 2 weeks off. One of those weekends happens to be Mother's Day, so we'll see what happens. Sometimes during the summer, we cram it in, and we know Mother's Day's here, and we say love you and thank you, but sometimes we run racing. This particular summer, we happen to have it off, so we'll see what we cram in there.
I think the guys should cook for us once. You know? I think they should be cooking dinner.
Once in a while. It's a luxury, right? And then we will get back on track for Points Race 5, and I think we have a few 5 or 6 weeks of consistent racing before we have another break. And hopefully by then Evan will have his problems really shooken out.
Yeah, we've got it narrowed down. It's either his cylinders wore out, which happens. He's been racing the same cylinder. Yes, we did do some top end work, but the cylinder itself, if it's wore out, he'll have to have that fixed, a new sleeve put in. If it's not that, it's electronic. So, I mean, we've got it narrowed down to the 2 possibilities of what it is. So,
and so I think I'm hoping for a much better race 5 for Evan, just to get out there and be competitive. It gets hard on them to not be competitive, to want to strap in and keep going when you know there's something wrong with your car. So, we are going to take this 2 weeks to really see what the problem is and get him fixed up.
Yeah, and he'll be ready to go. We don't want I don't want to go racing. I hate this thing, which is kind of where Evan is right now. And all the kids get there when they're not doing well, or if something's going on with the car and we can't figure out what it is. So that's kind of where he's at. So we want to get him back up there. So hopefully after this 2-week break, we'll have it all ironed up, and he'll be good to go.
So tune in every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on CSTV, Rauscher Racing's Facebook page, and Brent Rauscher Motorsports on YouTube.